here in the studio this morning.
Ayo.
Yes. And this morning, you can also be a part of the conversation
Mhm.
by sending us messages on WhatsApp, watching us via live stream on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Smooth981 FM.
On WhatsApp, our number is 0809 444 0981.
All right, let's go straight into our first story. We're going to be starting off with basketball. Durant travels to Toronto ahead of games 1-2. Golden State Warriors star Kevin Durant traveled on the team's charter to Toronto yesterday ahead of games 1 and 2 of the NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors, even though he has been officially ruled out of game 1 with a strained right calf. Durant injured his calf in game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Houston Rockets and has not played since then.
Yes, he's eager to get back in the mix. So remember when the trade war, let me not call it trade wars because of the real trade wars that are happening. But remember when the trade happened, and I mean, some people started watching the NBA just yesterday, and so they come out and say things like, "Oh, Kevin Durant is such a beast. Yeah, Golden State Warriors will be nothing without him." Then Golden State Warriors sweep the Portland Trail Blazers without Kevin Durant. And so Kevin Durant saying, just before they forget me, I have to quicken this my recovery, because at first the diagnosis was that he wasn't going to be able to come back for the rest of the playoffs. Then he's going to come back maybe in the finals, and so he's trying to push to get back on the team. He wants to be on court at least when or if they win the championship. When, I would say when, because I think they're getting the Toronto Raptors in at most
Yeah.
5. let me give the Toronto Raptors one game. I think it's going to end in game 5, and Golden State Warriors will win. But he wants to be on court for when that happens, and so he's pushing his way to get back. I hope he doesn't exert himself too much. I'm glad that the medical team have said he's not playing game 1. I think he shouldn't be playing game 2, but he's going to travel just to keep people guessing. Ultimately, I don't think he'll be needed. I still think with or without Kevin Durant, Golden State Warriors have this title.
Ah.
But barring some miraculous circumstance.
You know, for me this year, I'm for the underdogs. So I really want the Toronto Raptors to win. Not because I know them or anything, just because they're the underdogs.
Thank you.
So, after earning rave reviews in the first game, the Flying Eagles have been heavily criticized for their poor performance on Monday. Nigerians have slammed Paul Aibogun's boys for their 2-0 defeat against the United States of America in their second Group B game of the Under-20 World Cup. The result leaves the West African country, that's Nigeria, with a must-win game when they take on Ukraine for their last Group D fixture on Thursday. People had high hopes for these guys, but fell short.
Well, I won't say they had high hopes. I just think, when it comes to age grade competitions, Nigeria tends to do well. So it's not like they had high hopes that they're just like, well, they do well in this competition, so they'll do well again. It's not like they're anticipating or they're applauding or they're going to celebrate with them, because it was already, I mean, the competition before the tournament started, it was already marred with questions about the real ages of these boys. And then Guinea was caught for age cheating, and then there were all sorts of stories coming out in the media. So in as much as, you're Nigerian and you say, oh, go and do well, Flying Eagles, congratulations, Flying Eagles, when they do win. But it's not like there's any expectation resting, because it's nothing really gained from age grade championships. Okay, they play age grade championships. The next thing you want to see is progress in their careers, and you barely ever hear about them, but you can show the careers of their European counterparts and sometimes even their South American counterparts. But you look for the Nigerian counterparts, and you're looking for them with a microscope after each age grade tournament. So, I mean, it was bad, but you expect that they get on the pitch and they beat the USA. This is not basketball. This is football. And the USA taught Nigeria a lesson. It's like Nigeria was doing all the playing, but USA were the ones that were strategic, that were tactical, and you saw the way the boys were playing, and you could tell that these were young boys that are still trying to find their way, and they were able to beat you by 2 goals to nil. Didn't it wasn't a good showing. So from the coaching side, some substitutions should have been made early. Some people should have started the game, like Ocon, in my opinion. As soon as he got on the pitch, there was a lot more creativity, there was a lot more movement up front, going forward. So I don't know why he was on the bench for as long as he was on the bench. Anyways, so you have those questions, and then you have the questions of the boys who couldn't finish when they were finish the few chances that they created. All those questions come to mind, and then you lose to the USA in football. USA, they don't even call it football, they call it soccer. And then they beat you in the game that they don't even know the name. I can't even, in fact, I don't even want to talk about it. But they get to play against Ukraine tomorrow, and that is crucial for the for two reasons. They need to get a result against Ukraine to stay in this competition. But Ukraine seems so far to be the strongest team in this group. So how
do you think will possibly qualify?
I cannot tell.
This one that we are beaten by the soccer team.
It's not. I cannot tell. Football is not mathematics, but Ukraine beat USA and USA beat Nigeria. So you can calculate the food chain from there.
We're quite humble when it comes to international football. All we ask is move past the group stages, and we're okay. But you will not move past the problem. All right, let's go on to tennis. And good news here for Osaka, as world number one Naomi Osaka was just 2 points from a sensational Roland Garros exit yesterday before securing her place in the second round, where she was joined by defending champions Simona Halep, who also needed 3 sets to survive. Now, top seed Osaka, bidding to add the French Open to her US and Australian Open titles, defeated Slovakia's Anna Karolina Shmedlova 0-6, 0-6, 7-6, 7-4, and 6-1. Now, Osaka said, "I think this is the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life during a match. First time playing a Grand Slam as number one. I have won the last 2, so I kind of want to win this one really bad."
Oh God, she has come again with her sub stories. But she played a really horrible first set. For you to be bageled by that. I mean, if you're bageled by a top 10 player, it's understandable, but you're bageled by a player ranked number 80 something in the world. Just ridiculous. The way she showed up in the first set, but second set and third set, she more than made up for it with her experience, with her confidence, with her fighting spirit. And so if she says it's because she was nervous, well, I don't know what she was expecting. She's world number one player. Everybody's going to be targeting you. Might as well just bring your A game in. On the other hand, for Simona Halep, she looked like she was cruising, won the first set, started the second set off well, and then somehow she just fell off the railings. Unfortunately for her, because again of experience, sometimes some of these players do so well and push through a few sets, and then they cannot complete the job. Same thing happened with Sasha Zverev and Millman. Millman pushes him to the fifth set and then collapsed in the fifth set. So sometimes when these lowly ranked players come in, they don't know how to go the distance, and that's where the experience of being a top ranked player who has gone deep into tournament after tournament, or won tournament after tournament, know how to handle that pressure. And so Simona Halep and Osaka scaled through. Sasha Zverev, I mentioned, also scaled through. But let's see which big names will fall today. Ostapenko, former champion.
What are the people playing today?
The Federer is playing today. Yesterday he trained with Kei Nishikori, who is also playing today. So let's see how that turns out. And then Mbappe went to visit him. I don't understand why. Mbappe has been visiting people. We went to Formula One, went to tennis. Maybe if he should play his football, would have won Champions League. But what can I say? Let me just leave him. Let me not talk about him. Let me just focus.
He's done well. We're proud of him.
Yeah, he has won World Cup. So.
All right. So Barcelona president Josep Maria Bartomeu has said that Ernesto Valverde will remain as the club's manager next season, despite reports he was set to be sacked on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the club's hierarchy will still hold a meeting on Wednesday, that's today, as they look to pick up the scraps from the losses to Liverpool and Valencia, according to this report.
Okay, so a crazy one. Yesterday we had news. If you're following the news, the rumor mills were really rolling about Valverde leaving and Roberto Martinez being lined up to replace him. I don't know in what reality Roberto Martinez is a better coach than Valverde, but hey, what can I say? And so Batumi has come out to say that no, we're going to just analyze why Barcelona failed to win the Copa del Rey and why they lost a 3-goal advantage against Liverpool, and then we'll take it from there. I think that Valverde is definitely leaving. I just don't know.
This is just a smoke screen.
Yeah, and so you know how they say we are solidly behind the manager. 1 week later, he's fired.
He's fired.
He's not fired. They mutually agreed to part ways. Mm-hmm. So let's wait for what today's meeting will bring, and then we'll know what it is. But also, Bartomeu's tenure as president of Barcelona is also being judged by the results, because they're looking at it that even Sandro Rosso, that was accused of fraud and almost went to jail, had a better result as president than you. So he has to find a way to make his presidency count. Right. That's what it is.
Thank you. Let's make time count. We'll go on a break right now. Don't go anywhere. Just in time for you to have a toilet break, have a cup of coffee, or just listen as we come back with Locker Room in a moment. Sorry to all our sponsors that I said that you can't take a break when they're advertising. That's why I said, oh no, you can actually sit and listen.
Ayana.
We have some comments. Should we come back to some comments? We have like 4.
Okay, we'll come back to 2. And then we'll go to the next story. We'll go to the next story, and after those 2, then we'll read the rest, because it's mostly about Europa League that's happening today. That toilet break, I need it.
Oh yeah, go.
Drank so much water today. I'm not like that.
Bit of time.
I saw.
Just try.
I need to join a dance class. I've forgotten how to dance.
But there are many. Oh, something mechanic.
I don't want salsa. I want
That's samba.
Not samba. I want Nigerian dance.
Now what's wrong with this? That's Brazilian rumba.
No, not Zumba. It's not Zumba. I want Nigerian dance.
That's the closest. Except start one. Hello, good morning. Hello. You there outside? You there inside? Okay. Okay, I will send someone to give you key. Thank you. Please, Mercy, right? Let me not call you Esther again. Please, can you help me to give my car keys to my mechanic? To the mechanic. He's not my mechanic. He's the mechanic. So in my bag, not the main side, the side open, one that doesn't have a zip. My car keys, there's just a little box. Please just help me to give. His name is Mr. Sampson. Yeah, he's in the compound. Thank you. Please ask him what his name is. Somebody that I don't know.
Give it to Sunday.
Sunday.
After all, it's all S. No, I'm sure there are Nigerian dance classes.
Okay, wait, is it? I just told Esther Mercy. Why am I calling her Esther for crying out loud?
Okay, Diego.
Yeah. Somebody should remind you of.
No, she don't remember. I don't. How many? It's just that I called her Esther ever since then. You know how it is when you make a mistake and then the mistake now becomes now a territory in your life. That's what's happening.
I
surrender to your. Well done.
That's what I want.
Yeah, like that song is the most ridiculous song ever. But
I'm telling you, it's very catchy.
It's very catchy, and it's.
They play it at a wedding.
It's a wedding.
I was like, why did you play this song at this wedding? Because you surrender to her. Like, I don't understand what that means.
And it's always played when they're dancing in the Nasi.
Yes.
That the
girl will not turn her elekedi. I didn't know that Bombo was elekedi. I didn't understand it. Anyway. But I thought it was a ridiculous song, and I thought it was stupid, and I really wanted to go and warn the DJ, but it was not my wedding, so I sat down. Next thing, Monday morning, I started singing the song.
It's so catchy.
But I want to dance Nigeria, as in Nigerian dances are exercises. So I want to dance.
Yeah,
I'm going to look for a dance class. Maybe Cafe will have one.
All right, we're back, guys.
2 comments, stories.
Mike's up. Indeed, music is divine as sports is magical. Let me put it like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the locker room here on Smooth Breakfast with myself, Ayo.
And Valentine.
And of course, we have Tega, Supreme Tiger.
You'll be all
All
right.
of them together.
Somebody sent in a message here. Says those USA boys showed us something. Understand football, book one. And Emeka from Ojo says, "Good morning, guys in the studio. Tega, do you think they can qualify? As you said, that they can do well as a basketball nation, beat Nigeria, a known football nation.
As in,
Are you sure we're not an ex-known football nation?
I still know." Shiro Nancy says, "What is all this about Serena and Osaka losing heavily in their first set? Is that a coincidence or a signal? It's coming."
All right. Okay, let's go on to our next story. Now we're going into, well, continuing in the world of football. Mauricio Sarri storms out of Chelsea training ahead of Europa League final. Chelsea had denied Mauricio Sarri's furious exit from training ahead of the Europa League final was caused by an altercation between David Luiz and Gonzalo Higuain. Now, shortly after the Italian had told the media of his love for his Chelsea squad in his press conference ahead of today's clash with Arsenal in Baku, or is today, a disagreement broke out between defender Luiz and striker Higuain towards the conclusion of the session at the Olympic Stadium.
okay. So here's what's crazy. They have a final to play today.
Yeah.
There are questions surrounding N'Golo Kante. Coach said it's 50-50. One other report said he's not going to even be able to make it at all. And then there's a fight in camp and the coach walks out. So he didn't think that we should try and settle it. He didn't think that we should try and move past this, shake hands and try to focus on the job at hand. He got angry, kicked his cap repeatedly, according to reports.
Wow.
And then stormed out. How old is this person we're talking about? Is he 2? But whatever, for what if they like, they should deny that it was because of a fight between David Luiz and Higuain. It doesn't matter. If he likes, he should deny whatever it is. What happens is that there was a training session going on before the final of the Europa League, and that's a trophy game.
Yeah.
And your
It's a big
coach
one for
and your
Arsenal.
coach is stomping out. It's
This
just
is not the first time that he's gotten upset.
look.
or gotten angry.
Sorry, look again. When yeah, when you have some habits,
Yeah.
some things in your brain will touch.
If you're on YouTube watching us, you know exactly what Tega saying.
So what it is ultimately is that the coach cannot be losing focus at this particular point in time, and he looks like he is. There's already distraction about you going to Juventus, and you're trying to talk in the media to temper that down, and then there are questions about some fitness of your good players, and then your players are fighting and you're stomping off. Are you the coach or are you the ball boy? I don't understand what exactly it is that Sarri is doing, but what it is that's happening in Chelsea's camp, it's not looking good. But they may get on the pitch and convert all this negative energy into aggression, which will give them results. And you know, the Arsenal players, they don't know how to play on that. If you are physical and aggressive towards them, they will cower. That's the problem with Arsenal. They like to play football.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
They
now.
don't like to fight.
So I really hope that they should continue their internal fighting in Chelsea. Let it affect their play.
But what I'm saying is that they can continue that internal fighting and get on the pitch and give you good results. Some teams just know how to thrive in chaos.
Yeah.
Chelsea is one of those teams that know how to thrive in chaos. Remember how they lost? There was supposed to be backroom politicking and fighting.
Yeah.
Then they lost their coach and they won the UEFA Champions League with Roberto Di Matteo. Roberto Di Matteo is 1 grade better than me, and the 1 grade is I have certificates. That's all. But they won the UEFA Champions League with that guy. So some teams know how to thrive under chaos, and Chelsea is one of those teams. Yeah.
Now, Arsenal's Unai Emery says winning a trophy with Arsenal is more important than securing Champions League football for next season. In his words, the first objective is in all teams in the world is to play for the possibility of winning a title. That is the first objective. The second is to help us achieve the Champions League through this competition. The first target for Arsenal and Chelsea, he says, is to play for our supporters and win for our supporters one title. We have a big challenge tomorrow. The most important target is to win the title and to play and enjoy one moment like that.
Yes, I think ultimately he knows that if he wins the title, he's going to Champions League. So everything else is of no consequence. And he's right. You have to just win the championship. At the end of the day, you want to end the season saying, okay, I came here and in my first season, I won a title that has eluded Arsenal for a while. So for him, history making, for him, he's winning a title. And then playing in Champions League is secondary. Ultimately, it's how to get into a final and win the match. That's what he needs. Now, this is not a strange place to him. It may be a different team, but it's not a strange place to him. He's won this title several times with Sevilla, so he knows how to win this title. Problem is the team he has. Is it the kind of team that he would be able to thrive with in a final? Those are the questions he should ask himself, and especially the fact that, I mean, think about it. Not only was Mkhitaryan not able to travel with the team, some fans were in Baku and they wearing the Arsenal jersey with Mkhitaryan's name on it, and the police stopped them to confirm that they're the one. Now, I don't know. Now, the police hasn't given any explanation why they stopped them, like whether they wanted to stop them to protect them or to stop them to tell them to go and hide. I don't know why the police stopped them,
so
because
they were targeted just for wearing his name with
it was name. So like I said, we don't know why they stopped them, whether they stopped them for protection or whatever. But the fact is, just walking around with the name on your back can invite the police attention. And then you expected that guy to travel to Baku, which is it makes so much sense. So with that drama, the political drama of the pitch, the good news about Arsenal is that Arsenal players, if you've seen them on social media, they looked hyped up for the game. They want to win something to maybe salvage the season, and feel good about the season, and then they can take it off from there. So Unai Emery is in the right place. Win the title first, then you can now decide what benefits of the title you want to enjoy. But first things first is win the title.
All right.
We have messages here. Emeka from Surulere says, must you always use calculator anytime you go for a football tournament?
My brother.
Questions that I can't
Lookman from Ijebode. Hi, Lookman. Thanks for joining in. He says, Tega, I saw your tweet yesterday and I thought you would be in Barcelona this morning to meet Bartomeu. Looking forward to seeing how many empty seats we'll see in Baku tonight. Really?
Because a lot of fans couldn't travel. I told you there were limited flights, and then the few flights that were available were too expensive, and then the club some clubs made chartered arrangements for some fans to go, but how many fans can they carry? So on the one hand, Liverpool fans are complaining that there are not enough tickets. Arsenal and Chelsea fans are saying,
and that's what I was thinking about.
And George from Lekki says, good morning, guys. Kepa Arrizabalaga said they should not play Sarri ball, or Ansari got mad. That is the issue. He says, this is Shei. Hi. Ayo, but I feel like flogging these under 20 boys for allowing USA team to play Nigeria.
Can you imagine? They won't give us visa. Now they want to they should get them back.
So Tiger, what do you think? Who do you think will win between Arsenal and Chelsea? Valentine, has Sarri not gone to Juventus yesterday? Well, I'll ask him when I get my private jet. So why will he be losing focus when there is a final to play today? Sarri will be vexing as if he's a pregnant woman.
Don't let pregnant women come for you, Shay.
Don't let women come for you.
In general, right?
Now, Sherry says, I beg the whole Chelsea team and club should fight against themselves just for today. Thank you. So Arsenal can triumph tonight. Thanks.
Confusion in the locker room.
That's right.
And Emma from Akoka says, if there was ever a time we needed friendship goals from Aubameyang actually and Alex, this is it. We're officially in the end game. It's time to avenge the 5th position. Unai, whatever you do not play Mustafi. It's a small price to pay for salvation. Come on, you Gunners. Emma, we've missed you. Thank you very much for sending a message.
Yes, indeed. We have one from YouTube. YouTube, Idris Abiodun says, stop giving yourself hope. Chelsea will deal with your team today. We'll find out very soon. We're going to break. When we come back, we'll continue Locker Room for the final run. Oh, I was watching the time. I knew there was one. I'd seen one. So that we don't leave our YouTube family. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
How you guys doing? Send us messages. We love reading them. Share with your friends. Be
I'm
a
so
part of
tired.
the conversation. Who's that naughty person that usually comments on YouTube? I forgot his name. Maybe Idris or something. I can't remember.
See, he's your friend. Let me see. What other stories we have?
So we have Neymar stripped as Brazilian captain, and then John Terry.
Okay, so Neymar is more.
Neymar is more important.
Not more important, but more likely the.
John
this time.
Terry, of course, he's going to. If they invite him to manage, of course he will rush
You
into
know, he's
it.
still learning. He hasn't gotten his certificate yet.
Oh, really?
He used to be a player just a few months ago.
Idris says hello to you too. Hi, oh, thanks,
Hello.
Idris. Idris. See
No,
people
it's
praying
that
for
one.
Chelsea.
After we read that Neymar news, we'll take this.
He said God should send confusion into the camp of the enemy, just like he did some Moses. Don't worry, I will do. Val,
What
this
time is the
now.
match?
What time is
4
it?
p.m.
No, nice. It's
When?
UEFA Champions League. I think 7:30.
What are you going to say?
7
I
to
was going to say
45.
that this is going to jeopardize more my husband's chances of going to Michael.
Hey!
I didn't realize that Arsenal was playing. I don't know what
Okay,
I'm
so
going to do.
Michael.
I was telling Val this morning that
It's
I
true.
forget that we're on here.
Yeah.
But that
There's somewhere else.
yeah, I was supposed to go to today.
So if however they perform tonight to encourage.
No, he won't perform. That they're playing.
It's today. Oh my goodness!
And
It's
you want to watch it.
true.
I know he would. This is like the highlight of their
Sorry,
season.
sorry.
Go by yourself now. Why are you asking the poor
I'm
boy?
more interested in going. He's the one that should go now. Let me start sending messages from now and be preaching. That's one thing I'm good at, babe. I'll be listing all the reasons why we have to go. You see, you know that this is this. You know that this is this. And my mom doesn't help. My mom is always supporting me. No, hey, leave me alone. I'm like, mommy.
Yeah, it's one day after they almost would have been on the same birthday. Yeah? Where's my cake?
Yeah. I have cake at home. I even have a whole cake. It's just to bring it. I'll bring
Yeah,
it.
guys, not your own. It's my own.
I'll bring the cake.
Who are you?
Don't worry.
Identify yourself.
I even have dessert. So
I beg,
from
please.
chocolate, from
Bring my cake. If
Well,
your husband
okay,
doesn't know me, before he will know me, tell him to give my cake.
Don't worry, he knows you.
No, he does not know me. Oh, before he will know me.
He listens to you.
Before he will know me now. No.
And people are like from the same side.
People that listen to me think they know me. Until they know
Did
me.
you guys hear that? You heard it from the horse's mouth.
Until they know me before they will know.
Da-da-da.
I don't understand why my phone is charging very slowly. Doesn't it know that I want to go home immediately? Hey, and my mommy went to now travel. Today would have been a good day for pepper soup. Don't you cook pepper soup in your house?
Yes, you do.
Can I come and visit you?
Can come now. If you see pepper soup, you'll be glad.
What kind of person are you?
Oh, these balloons are nice.
What a terrible person you are.
I'm a fantastic person. Okay, guys, we're coming online shortly. 15 seconds to go. Mic is up. Studio is live. Thank you, Fumbi, for some good music. Now we come to the end of the locker room ball. We have a few more, one more story and some comments to go. Neymar stripped of Brazil national team captaincy. Brazilian star Neymar has lost his national team's captaincy for this summer's Copa America to veteran Dani Alves. He said that the federation said in a statement on Monday that the 36-year-old defender, also a teammate of Neymar's with Paris Saint-Germain, will start wearing the armband in the friendly against Qatar in June 5 in Brasilia.
Yes.
They stripped him because he fouls too much.
No.
Okay.
He said fantastic. That fouling is great for Tite. But what happened? They stripped him because of the fight he had with the fan. And so they're like, you've had one too many cases where you've lost your temper, and people are going to. I mean, think about it. We are hosting Copa America, and sometimes we may not play our best game. And so if people rally you now give a flying kick to a fan. Like they don't want to risk it, and you're the
you touch
yeah.
very lightly and you fly.
So they don't want to give you. They don't want to risk it. So he's like, you've not you've not displayed the discipline that a captain should have.
Yeah.
And so we're going to give it to Danny Alves. You have to understand that Danny Alves is a party boy. Like, this guy likes to have fun. So for them to strip you of captaincy and give it to the party boy, you have failed miserably.
Oh.
But he's young and he has time to grow back and get back the captain's armband. All he needs to do is just serve his time, become. But there are also questions about him, because yesterday he limped out of training. So there's questions about his fitness. Will he be able to play in full form for them at the Copa America? A lot of questions surrounding him. So perhaps it's just safe to leave Dani Alves as captain and carry it from there.
We got a message from Omole, from Ayo Ese. He said God should send confusion into the camp of the enemy, just like in the days of Moses. Come on, you Gunners. Sheriff Oluwaleke Akimbi says, for me tonight, I do not care how Arsenal wins. They should just win. Whether win by Ojoro, penalty, half goal, own goal, with any results, just carry the cup.
I'm with you, Sheriff. I don't blame you.
We have to go.
All right, we have to go. But thanks a lot for your comments. Thank you, Tega, for being here, always being faithful and committed. You can follow Tega at Tega Supreme on Twitter and find out all that she's doing with ladies in sports at LIS International. Something interesting is coming up.
Yes, on the 26th of July.
Yeah.
Just keep the dates open.
Okay.
On the 26th of July.
Is that a song? Yeah.
No.
All right, Lagos. We're not singing to you yet. We have some good music for you. But at 9 o'clock, we'll open the phone lines for a Lagos Talk special. We'll have a guest in here. And guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be reviewing the past administration in Lagos State and looking forward to what to expect with the incoming government. See you soon.